You have the incentives rationalization under CREATE originally formed to at least make the country more competitive as an investment destination. So what now about the incentive rationalization is turning off investors? And like what you mentioned, what do you think could be done at least to make us more palatable as a destination here?
Yeah, it's already given, sir, that the CREATE has passed. So what can be done right now?
Okay, so that's a two-part question. The first thing is we have never suggested that the incentives rationalization will be good for our industry and others. Never have we said that. Because like I explained earlier, to begin with, the perception is that, the rules of the game have changed. And now the other thing is you've added another layer of bureaucracy to what PEZA was doing under the able leadership of DG Plaza. And, investors are looking for expediency, for effectiveness, for efficiency in terms of processes. Now you've just added a layer of bureaucracy. And now PEZA, instead of just being able to approve the incentives, they have to go to another layer, considering time and considering another decision process. I mean, government needs to make sure that agencies are performing well. But rather than introducing another layer of bureaucracy, why don't we put the appropriate measures and see how they perform? Because honestly, PEZA for decades has been a one-stop shop and is really has really impressed the multinational investors. What can government do to Danny's point? We would like, not just for the incentives, but for the operating costs, the ease of doing business, the inconsistent agency practices or pronouncements. What we'd like to do is be able to seek audience with the president, the new cabinet, Senate. Congratulations to Senate President Mix, Congress, so that we can explain. We're not casting stones at the government. We need to be successful as a country and work with government.
The incoming NEDA Secretary Balisacan has already said that they will be focusing on agriculture and manufacturing industries in the incoming administration. Does that give you any optimism? Have you reached out to the cabinet in terms of what can be done to revive or at least push forward the semiconductor industry?
We're waiting for the president-elect and the cabinet to be, sworn into their respective positions. But we are hoping, and I repeat this again, an appeal to government to hear us out. It's encouraging that Secretary Balisacan is focusing on agriculture and manufacturing, but specifically we also want to help educate or get them up to speed, the cabinet, the president, on the electronics industry and the impact on the economy and employment.
Sir Dan, by how much more do you expect the situation to worsen? I mean, earlier you mentioned $400 million worth more of investments that we actually stand to lose. Are you looking at the possibility of that increasing, or are there other potential investors who might actually opt out of the Philippines?
Well, that's $400 million that's being considered to be moved in addition to the $3.2 billion, right? I'm really looking forward to the dialogue with government so that we can work together. We've always worked together with government. We're not going to sit here and just complain and moan without, and putting the blame on government. That's not how we work. This is an all-out country initiative, right? So that's why we would like to request that dialogue, because if we don't do anything and leave things the way they are, I'm just concerned that more incentives will be funneled out of the country or redirected from the Philippines. Because, as you know, countries like Vietnam and Thailand and even Malaysia are going all out to attract these investments because they know this generates employment, this generates higher GDP and better for the economy.
Sir, but regardless or notwithstanding the flight of capital because probably of regulation, is this not circumvented by the fact that economies are reopening and there's more need right now for semiconductors, and the export industry has improved, at least compared to the height of the pandemic? To what extent are we back to the pre-pandemic trajectory?
Well, the electronics is a place in the global market. So, like I said earlier, we have recovered, and we're actually on a trajectory to grow by 10% this year. Now, the question is, do we just do nothing? I mean, if we're happy with having like a 5% share in the global market and having our investments pegged where they're at to financial instruments and maybe some infrastructure projects, then there's nothing we can do about that. But for us, I think there's still a lot of potential to grow the electronics industry. I mean, think about this. Vietnam in 7 years has grown their electronics business to $100 billion. The Philippines in 30 plus years, we're only at a 49 billion or 46 billion dollar level. There's so much to be gained. There's so much opportunities that we're missing out on. And it doesn't necessarily compromise, what we can focus on as far as agriculture or BPO or OFW remittances.